Wow, thank you everyone for coming. Um, Today I'm just going to give a brief introduction, and I know we've had this session. We've had this session before where we've really talked to you guys at the start of the program. And thank you for everyone that's been filling. Thank you to everyone that has been filling their logbooks. That sort of give us feedbacks on how the process. Sonny's joining us from Borneo. Wow. I hope it's not too hot there this afternoon. So yeah, thank you to everyone that's been filling the logbooks. It's been really useful, and it's been useful. Remember, this process is not just for you. It's not just a tick box exercise, really. And that's why it's different from the standard curriculum you get in universities or anything like that, right? The aim of this program, our mentorship program, is to ensure that you get impacted, right? You can get knowledge. Some of these things that you are getting from some of these mentors, you can't pay to get it. And sometimes you're getting, it's like somebody's compressing the years. You know, when you look at the job description and then they ask you that they need 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years experience. And, you know, and that is how what you're getting from these mentors, that's what it looks like. Because what is happening is, it's like somebody's taking your hand and making you to jump ahead. All right. That's what you're doing. And that's why I'm really grateful to all our mentors. And I think we sent them an email again yesterday to say thank you for how they've been treating you, making time for them and all of that. So I'm sure a lot of you have really, I don't think there's anyone here that's not seen their mentor so far, but from the feedback we've been getting at the back end, looking at your logbooks, we can see that it's really like sort of ticking the boxes that we want it to tick. It's really like making impact. You're beginning to see things. If you're a student, you're beginning to see beyond the 4 walls of the university. If you are in early careers, you begin to see just what is possible. And that's really good. When I look at the assignment, when I look at the thought process, where you're going to do better from what you've learned from your mentors. And that's really great. And we are so excited. This has really been fulfilling for us. You know, for us and the team, what is fulfilling for us is you get something out of that. At the end of this 3 months, you will have been so equipped that you can jump past, you know, your colleagues. And that's why this afternoon, we are also having this personal development session. You know, like I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what, there are so many things that you can buy with money and maybe spend your time on, but there are just some things that are like gifts. And I believe that's how this session is today. It's like a gift to you, because if you can master your personal mastery, it's something that is you know, a lot of people, even 5-10 years after graduation, they're still like rounding around, and then we hear a lot of conversation around oh, I came out, I didn't get a job and all of that, which is true. The economy is bad, but if you can work on your personal mastery, you will discover that, you know, there's a lot, and I know I'll be speaking to that. There's a lot that you can do, and that's really the grand plan. It's like the foundation for building a very good structure. So that's really why we've put together this personal development session today. So please ensure that you're writing, you're copying. We're going to have a first session where the speaker is going to speak, and then we have a Q&A session whereby you can ask your question, and that's really good. Please don't hold back. Just ensure that the question you are asking is like relevant to this session, right? But don't hold back. You know, you have this opportunity. Our speaker is a trainer and he trains people in large organizations. So he's used to people asking him questions. So take this opportunity to ask your question, you know, and to try and get answers. So please don't be distracted. Find a quiet place. Don't just log in, you know, just for ticking the box. But, you know, find a quiet place whereby you can really, really ensure that you're getting the knowledge that we are going to be putting out today. And I hope that you can actually find this useful and begin to use it in different areas of your career. Okay, that's good. So we're good, right? We've agreed we're not going to be distracted. We've agreed that we will take the best out of this session. Please mute yourselves. You know, when we get to the Q&A, we'll tell you to unmute if you want to speak, and then you'll be able to answer your questions. So that's great. If there's any question that is admin, you know, in terms of the end reality, just, you know, you have our email address, just send that. Don't keep those questions in this session so that the speaker can focus on the questions for this session. But please feel free to ask questions, all right? That's great. I myself am ready here to listen and to just listen to our speaker, all right? So I'm just going to introduce our speaker. Well, before I introduce our speaker, I think I should introduce the topic for the day. And I know we've put the flyer in the, I'm just going to share the screen in a moment. We've put the flyer a couple of times on the Can you see it? Can you see the flyer for today? Let me know.
Yeah, it's visible.
All right, brilliant. Yeah. So it is unlocking your mastery for success. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And this topic is not limited to, some people, all of us are still learning. I have how many years post-graduation? I have 12 years post-graduation and I'm still learning. So it is a good thing and it's a good time. Whether you're a student or you're in early years or in early careers, this is a good thing to learn. And you're going to ensure that you are, these are things that we pay coaches to coach us for so that we can be effective, because unfortunately, this is one of the areas in which university education does not really speak to, right? It doesn't really speak to. So yeah, that's really going to be what we're going to be discussing today. So without much ado, I'll go ahead and introduce our speaker, who is Akorede Fagbola. I'm going to just read his profile here. I have his profile right in front of me here, and I'm just going to be reading that to us. And just for you to know where it's coming from. So Akorede Fagbola is on a relentless quest to explore, express, and explain the wonders of the human mind, right? He has a background from Lautech and he has different expressions. And, one of the things that excited me reading his profile is he's somebody that has a multi-potential ability. And what does that mean? Somebody that has interest in different things. But good thing about it is he has been able to actually harness his passion and his interest into two areas, one of which is he has a training outfit called House of Disruption, and also he has another corporate outfit called Learners. And I think that's really good. Even before it goes to start speaking, you can learn that you can have so many interests, but you can have so many interests, not interests, but you can actually combine them or harness them into areas of areas that can help you to be effective with them. And that's what our speaker today has done. Akorede has come into some fine symmetry in the content, resources, and platforms it facilitates to reach the word. In his words and works, the physics of things are as important as their aesthetics, the narrative as vital as the objective, the metaphors as tangible as the mechanism. Currently facilitates culture bridging events and communities that focus on life skills integration, internal life mastery, leadership development, and cross-cultural human capacity. The thought provoker, as he is fondly called, I like that, thought provoker, and I know he's going to provoke our thoughts today. All right. Akorede is married to Tola Fagbola and is blessed with 2 kids, and he currently resides in Ibadan. And I think that's good because sometimes, we build things around location. Like if I don't go to Canada, I can't be successful, or if I'm not in Lagos or something. But yeah, our speaker is piping hot and he stays in Ibadan. All right. So I'll stop sharing my screen now, and I'm just going to bring him up. Mr. Akorede, where is he? I think it's somewhere here. Just gonna pin him in. Okay, just a minute. Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon once again.
Yes, our mentees are ready to hear from you piping out. I think I like that last line I read that you're in Ibadan. And I think that's because people just once they get in Lagos, they just give up. In fact, I am a village girl myself. I grew up at Ado-Ekiti, as in some people don't even know where that is in Nigeria, right? So Ado-Ekiti, yeah, and that does not limit you. So I'm so happy to have you here. That profile speaks to me because people do great things from different areas of the world. So you're welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, they are here, and then you have the floor.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much once again. I hope I'm very audible.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So thank you for having me here. Thank you for what you're doing here. I really appreciate the wonderful work. I saw that we have people from different geographical locations. It's wonderful. It's like a melting pot of ideas and all of that. And I know today we are going to really have something very tangible that we can integrate into our lives, into our pursuits and all of that. So I'm going to be sharing my screen right now. Now, my name is Akorede Fagbola, as I was introduced as, and yeah, she has said a lot of things about me in the bio, but as we go on, you would get to know 1 or 2 more things, especially in in regards to being a multi-potentialite or having multiple interests, multidisciplinarian, and all of that. But let me not jump ahead of myself. I have the tendency of doing that. So I'm going to share my screen now. I hope I get this as quickly as possible. Okay. Is my screen visible?
It's not yet coming up.
Okay. All right. I'm going to share. I think that should be. Please let me know if you can. Is it on now?
Yes, it's on now, so we can.
Okay, fantastic.
I
All
can
right.
see it. Can we see it? If you can see it, can you just put a chat in the chat section so that we can know if you can see it?
All right.
So if you want to unmute and just say yes, that's fine. Can you see it? If you can see the chat.
Yes, it's visible.
All right, brilliant.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So I'll be speaking on unlocking your mastery for success, unlocking your mastery for success. Traditionally, I should start by defining mastery, but I think I would go another route. Rather than defining mastery, I would ask a couple of questions. I would bombard us with about 5 questions. And the purpose of those questions is to trigger a self-reflection in us so that by ourselves, we can start looking at where we fall in the spectrum of mastery. Mastery is a very broad reality. It's not something, it's not a one-off, one time. It's not something you can just harness via an OTP sent to you from, from one program, like one-time transaction. Hey, I'm a master now. No, it's very progressive in nature. It's cumulative. When you are 70, you are still going to be learning it. When you are a grandpa, you are still going to be learning it. Whatever levels you are in life, it's not something that starts and ends. It's something that you continue to master mastery. You continue to master mastery. So I'm going to be asking some questions, and those questions are just to give us a feel on, so I called it Mastery 101 checklist. So I'm starting with the simplest one. Can you generate or deliver outstanding results and outcomes within the sphere of your purpose, within the sphere of your purpose? Perhaps the sphere of your purpose is probably education, or maybe education, and then you're also a fashionpreneur. Probably you're a techpreneur. Probably you have been configured to reach out to teenagers. Whatever is your purpose, have you come to a particular point in your life where, at least, let's say this year alone, let's not travel too far back into the past. Let's say this year, how many outstanding results have you been able to deliver? Probably you were given a project to do, probably you were given an assignment to do, or probably it's your pursuit, it's your purpose, your brand. Have you been able to generate or deliver outstanding results and outcomes that wowed people, outcomes that generated questions? One of the ways you know that you have done something that is really outstanding and excellent is that people begin to ask 1 or 2 questions. How did you do that? People say wow, and then people say how. People say wow, and then people say how. Because if it's not wowing them, apparently they're not going to ask about the how. Let's move on from that. Can you replicate these outstanding outcomes or results? It's one thing. See, there's something called fluke in life. There's something called accidental success. And in fact, this is Nigeria. And so there's even something called, there are some things that can happen in your life that can be result of divine interventions, in quotes. I'm a faith-based person. And regardless of whatever faith inclinations we have here, we know that as human beings, many of us depend on certain intelligent design, the supernatural and all of that. Now, I'm not talking about some accidental or, in quotes, miraculous intervention from something unexplainable. I'm saying, do you understand the process of replicating an outcome or a result or an experience or a performance or a delivery or one outstanding job you did for a customer or something you did with a brand or something you did on a project, something that made people say wow and ow? Can you replicate it? That's within the spectrum of mastery. Within the sphere of your purpose, can you replicate these outstanding outcomes? Let's move on. I hope you can still see my screen. Okay, all right, fantastic. Can you replicate these outstanding outcomes or results with lesser inputs? If you were given half the time to prepare, half the money, half the have the resources you have, would you still be able to replicate those outstanding outcomes? Okay, we know that. Okay, so for instance, I'm a content writer and I develop content. One of the ways I keep challenging myself is few years ago, when I write, yes, I get the wows, I get the ow, I get the woo, I get all of that. But sometimes it takes me 3 hours to come up with a really outstanding content. And I was not satisfied. You know why I was not satisfied? If it's taking me 3 hours to come up with something very outstanding, something magnificent, something phenomenal, and I have so many things I'm doing, into several things, and I have 24 hours per day. I am in soup. I am in soup because if I spend 3 hours to do something very phenomenal, and I have to do another phenomenal thing again, 6 hours have gone. What if I'm in the middle of something very urgent? What if I've promised to do something for someone, and one day before that particular thing, I have a family emergency? And I began to place myself on certain benchmarks and pedestals. Even if the entire world is coming to an end right now, as I'm talking to you right now, if God forbid, if a fire breaks out, if something unexpected, the most unexpected thing happens, can I still deliver with accuracy and precision? That's the way I measure my level of mastery. Like now, some of us, you are good until an unexpected crisis comes up. Oh, you're doing well. You're able to deliver that cake perfectly. You're able to deliver that job perfectly, in as much as you didn't get a call from home, in as much as nothing interrupted your order. The moment there's an interruption, now, by the way, interruptions could be negative or positive. Interruption could be adversity or opportunity. So let's say you have a job before, you have a project before you, and suddenly you have this awesome opportunity that requires an interview or requires you to immediately travel. And so the time you would have had to exert into your job has now been halved. Suddenly you have less time. Do you know the buttons to press to give you the same quality of phenomenality, the same quality of result? Do you know the exact thought pattern, the exact thought process, what to think, what to do? Exactly, in a linear way, in a way that you cannot miss it, in a way that you cannot fail, in a way that it is certain, you can guarantee it, even though you now have lesser inputs, and yet your output is still guaranteed. That is talking about another. Now you have moved higher in the mastery or in the spectrum of mastery if you can do that. The next one, can you articulate the frameworks and principles that deliver these outcomes? It's one thing that you can generate these outcomes. It's one thing that, okay, first year, second year in school, probably you're a student, you had 4.5 as your is GP up to 4.5. I'm not sure. Is there hope GP? I've been out of school for a while, so I'm not sure again. All right, whatever GP levels you know about, just convert it. So you had 4.5 first year, you had 4.5, but and you're able to replicate it. But can you articulate it? Because something I've discovered about, especially about this part of the world in developing countries, is we have people who sometimes deliver very awesome results, but because sometimes they don't understand the step-by-step processions, the frameworks, the algorithm that sustains those results, they cannot articulate it to another generation. They cannot articulate it in a book. They cannot articulate it in a content form. They cannot articulate it in a video. And it's very important that wisdom must be transferable. So can you articulate right there while you are sleeping? If you are woken up and you are asked to explain what you did that delivered your last quality outcome in whatever venture you are into, right there, do you have the words? Do you have the vocabulary? That's another level of mastery and excellence. Do you know can you pick the words from your cognitive faculty? Can you say, okay, so this is the meaning of what I did, and you are not gambling, and you are not incoherent. You can say, okay, so how we achieve that particular ROI, return on investment, for instance, was that we use this particular strategy. Do you have a naming ceremony for the strategies you have used in delivering some outcomes that are consistent in your life? That is another level of mastery. And it's good we all desire that level of mastery for success. Okay, let me go to the last one. For time sake, the last one is probably the highest, at least for this mastery 101. There's mastery 102, there's mastery 505. This is even just mastery 101. Can you integrate these frameworks into other deliverables within the spectrum of your purpose? So I run an education, a virtual education brand. I'm into training for cognitive skills. I am very involved in my faith-based works, like very, very, very involved. What I'm asking myself, what I keep asking myself is, if I really do understand the frameworks for success, and I really can articulate them consciously or communication-wise, can I integrate and adapt? Can I permutate those same? Now, I'm not just speaking grammar. Please, if it looks as if I'm speaking vocabulary, it's not because I really want to speak. I like to be as simple as possible. But I mean, those are just the words that embody what I'm trying to communicate. I mean, the words that embody what I'm trying to say are the words I'm using. So that's why. So just follow me. Don't be carried away. So can you, in a way, take a process you used either? You see, if you were successful as a football coach, and within your spectrum of purpose, you are no longer coaching a football team. Now you are running an entertainment outfit. You are a manager now. You are managing artists. There is a way those same principles and frameworks you used for managing a football team, there's a way you can permutate them. There's a way you can adapt them. Same principle, however, different contexts. There's a way you can adapt them and still use that to be an artist manager, and still use that to be a good fashionpreneur, and still use that to be a good student. See, the principles of success are so, they are fundamental, they are foundational in such a way that when you grab them, when you know them, even though, yes, different context applies, different specifications apply, but the truth of the matter is you can always find their contextual integration within the other deliverables of your life. As an entrepreneur that runs an education brand, I have deliverables. Interpersonal relationship, I must deliver on that. Building a system that works, I must deliver on that. As someone who is very, very, as a leader, I'm a youth leader in my faith community. I have deliverables, but I've come to realize that the framework, see, the content is just like academics. When you understand the formula, it is only if you don't understand the formula that you'll be given an assignment or you enter into an examination hall. And because you cram, now, some of us, I remember when I was in school, I used to do that sometimes. You will cram the past question. You have crammed past question 1 to 50. You have crammed it. If Ade and Shade share something, what will be what was the ratio? You have even crammed the answers. You now enter the examination, Shade and Ade did not come out. Same question, but different context. They now ask the question in form of, if a man and a woman, what will be the ratio? But because you crammed the specifics without understanding the underlying principles, you got confused. Say, they did not teach us this one. Which one is this one? No, it's the same thing. But it's just that you now need to convert that framework into this particular question. So rather than just studying, of course, it's good to study past questions and all of that. Understand the formulas. So with this now, what is mastery? With this, what is mastery? Or what is mastery for success? Ability to generate outstanding results and outcomes within this spectrum of your purpose. Ability to replicate those results until, okay, don't let me jump ahead of myself. I'll still talk about that. Ability to replicate those results. Ability to articulate the formulas and the principles for those results. Ability to integrate those frameworks and spread them across different layers of your life, such that even if you are cross-carpeting, whether you were in an artistic environment before, now you are going into maybe business, strict business, or you are going into a scientific endeavor, there is a way. Now, the way is not easy. It doesn't, I mean, it's not something that just jumps on you. I'm not making this sound easy at all. It is a life journey. I've not even arrived. I've been on this journey for years, and the more I learn, the more I know nothing. the more I understand it, the more I know I don't understand it. It's so broad, but it's so exciting. It's so immersive. Like, you keep learning, like, wow. So life can be this holistic in nature. So mastery is the ability to generate results, replicate those results, integrate those results, and you just keep on repeating the cycle. So how do you do this in practical terms? Before I move on, who can mention? I've mentioned like 3 things now. All the words that end with 8, they rhyme, so they are so I've used something that rhymes for the sake of our easy memory access. So can I get someone just mention those 4 rhyming things I mentioned, the 4 markers of mastery? Who can quickly mention that? Anybody? Ability to, number 1,
to
generate. Okay.
Articulate.
You are generating the results, you are articulating the results, you understand them enough to explain them. Even when you just wake up, you understand it. It is part of you. It is not something you are faking. It is not something you're faking. So you can articulate it. What's the next?
You can replicate it.
You can replicate it. If you were transferred to Pluto, if you were transferred to Mars, and now you are working with aliens, you are in Mars now, you don't even have human beings to work with, you now have aliens. These same principles can still work with aliens. You can replicate it. See, it is not easy, trust me. Especially when it comes to replicating. And that is why, see, I didn't come here with easy peasy skin deep principles. I didn't come here with just motivational mumbo jumbo, just something that sounds nice. No, this thing has to become a lifestyle. Mastery has to be a lifestyle. If you fake it, we will know, because you will get to another environment and will realize the inconsistencies of your wisdom. We will understand, okay, this person did not really understand this thing. Probably it was a fluke or something. So you must be able to replicate it. And there was the last one. You can tell me the last one.
Integrate.
Integrate. You can integrate it into other things you're doing. If you're a multi-potentialite, if you're a multidisciplinary, you can integrate those same frameworks and adapt them into different things. Okay. All right. So that was, I had to do that very fast. I hope I'm not too fast. I hope I'm not too fast. So let's
no, you're not. No, you're not.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. So I want to share some principles that have helped me to know how to generate certain wow outcomes. I'm still learning certain wow outcomes and replicate them and integrate them. And probably if we get to mastery 102, and that one is that one is mind-blowing. Mastery 102 is now, how do you automate? Automation now means you have the ability to something that works on a scale of 10 people before. You are not only able to replicate it, but you can now mass produce it on a scale of thousands of people. So these principles, but at least for the sake of the context of what we have today, these principles will really help you. The first one is forward, backward thinking. What in the world is that? Forward, backward thinking. What in the world is that? Now, forward, backward thinking is very simple. It means in the different pursuits of your life, in the things you are interested in the things you are, your business, your academic journey, the projects that are within your management, one of the things you can practice is this called forward, backward thinking. Now look at what we have on the screen. We have A, B, C, D, E. Now, A, B, C, D, E represents the components of a venture. It can, A, B, C, D, E can represent time. It can represent strategies. It can represent ideas. It can represent decisions. It can represent several variables. Now, when you want to start a project or whatever it is you are doing in life and you want to achieve success, a student, a parent, an entrepreneur, a team lead, a project manager, an HR person, whatever you are, learn to always time travel to the most foreseeable end of what you're doing. I'll break that down. See, everything you are doing in life has timelines and milestones. It has continuity. This meeting, as simple as it is, this session, first, a link was created. Then the Zoom was started. Then people joined. An introduction was done. I started speaking. And at the end of the entire session, everybody's going to have a wonderful time. Now, when you, in the things you are doing in life, learn, train your brain. It comes by training to always know how to see the end from the beginning. The most foreseeable, see, the end is almost infinite. That may be difficult. See, so that's why I just broke it down now. So, what is the end of today's session? The end of today's session, one way or the other, is we're all saying bye. All right, everyone. So right now, I'm time traveling to the end. I'm time traveling to the end right now. So let me act like the end. I'm into a little bit of acting. So this is my comfort zone. So right now, I want to time travel right now. All right. So thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, thank you for the kind words. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Thank you. I enjoyed myself too. Bye. So what I just simulated the end. Now, in that my end, there is a way simulating that end. So that means in that end, you all had a nice time. In that end, you are all thanking me. In that end, I'm thanking you all. Everybody's excited. But like, wow, like you are saying wow in that end. That's the only end. I have decided the end of every participant here. I can tell you the end. So in seeing that end, you now begin to journey back from the end. In the end, you are all smiling. You're all like, who is this? Who is this guy? Where did they get this guy from? Man, that is the end. That's your destiny as far as this session is concerned. So I have seen that. Now I'm just giving an example. I have seen that. So that's my point E. So I begin to journey back from my point E. What will make everybody have a nice time? That means I can't just say rubbish. That means I can't just go download something from Google and just share it. People are not going to say wow to that. That's not going to elevate people. So I begin to journey back from the end. Now, this is not just a motivational thing. This is not just about journeying back in terms of you, okay, so you have seen the end of a process, and then you have seen the response of people. No, you are not only seeing the response of people, you are not only seeing the feedback, you are also looking at the things you want as part of the experiences in the end. Now, this is what I mean. So let's say, I'm just saying. So let's say at the end of this session, I want to probably, I'm just giving an example. I'm not planning to do that apparently. Let's say I want to market a book. I don't even have a book yet. Let's say I want to market a book and I want everybody in this session to buy that book. Do you know that having that end at the back of my mind, the moment I start talking, in fact, that would have probably changed everything I did today. The moment I realized that I want everybody in this session to buy my book, I would not probably have been teaching. I would have been intentionally making reference to my book. So I would have said, this whole journey would have changed just by virtue of starting from the end. I want everybody to buy my book. I want everybody to ask me, where can they buy my book? So I would intentionally ensure I am making subtle reference, but you can get that. I wrote a book. That is how to actually think of your life. Now you can relate that to, let's say, your academic journey too. You can relate that to a project. I see many people start projects, start things, and they are only aware of points A and points B. It takes it. You train your mind to travel as far as the next 10 years. As far as the next, I heard that China, I think it's China, I'm not sure now. China has a blueprint of the next 1,000 years. The next, like, they have a blueprint, like blueprints of the next 1,000 years. Now, if we're not careful in a country like Nigeria, when people start talking about 10 years, 15 years, sometimes it's easy for the mind to shut down. because we have been conditioned to only see as far as the next month, the next 2 months, the next 3 months. There's no way you can live like that and predict and control the future. There's no way you can live like that and cheat time. See, time has to be, you must be able to cheat time. Let me put it this way. There was a way I put it some years ago. You don't get to 2023 in 2023. See, if you arrive in 2023 in 2023, you are a late comer. The stewards and the governors of 2023 started shaping 2023. I'm not even talking about, oh, if you just woke up this morning and you just arrived in 2022. sorry, bad news. You're very late. You are late. You are the buyer, you are not the seller. You are the customer, you are the collector, you are not the giver. Sorry, it's just the simple truth. You are the spectator, you are not the visionary. You are the one that will buy something. You can't be the one that will sell it. The ones who will sell the things you will buy. The ones who will make the content you will like on Facebook. The ones who, they must arrive at the future before the future. It is the spectators that arrive on a day in a day. It is the spectators that arrive on Monday. Oh, it's Monday. So you now start thinking of what to do on Monday. No, the ones who will control, who will be your focus on Monday. They have planned Monday from probably the past 3 months. So you don't arrive in the future. I remember some years ago, so I was looking at, I love movies, by the way. Do we have any Marvel fans here? Marvel fans. Do we have Marvel fans here? I love movies. I love Marvel a lot. And so there was a particular time I was looking at the production lineup for Marvel, and I began to see consistency. And this is how you will know really success. See, success is not an accident. It's not just grammar. It's not wishful thinking. It has a process. And I began to see that. I think that was in the year 2019, and I saw the production release dates for. Okay, I hope Marvel fans here. Sorry, apologies to non-Marvel fans. I saw the release date for Thor, Love and Thunder. I saw the release date for Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange. That was in, I think, 2019, 2018, and I was saying Multiverse of Madness 2022. I was like, in my own life, even the things I want to do next month, I'm not even like, if somebody wakes me and say, Korede, what are the things that will come out of your life, of your current pursuits in the next 1 year? I may not be able to just easily churn them out. I may not be able to say, oh, January. No, these guys did it with such a level of accuracy that I said, June 2022, Multiverse of Madness will be out. 2018. What's going on? So I saw Avatar. And so this year, when I started seeing the trailers for these movies, I said, this is the meaning of visionary thinking. This is the meaning of, now, by the way, the movie Avatar, The Way of Water, is coming out 2023. I saw the trailer about 2 months ago. Can you run trailers of the things that will come out of your life in 2024? Now, trailers in your own context, trailers are the words you use, the things you do. You coming to this, you joining this community, for instance, is advertising where you are likely to be in 2024 and 2025. So you're already emitting vibes that you are going somewhere. Your life must be full of trailers. Everything you do must flow from a place of intentionality. You must be, you keep advertising the future version of yourself. And that only happens when you do backward thinking. You move to the front in your mind, you come back again. So you are now journeying. You are journeying from point E. So let's go back to that document. So we have A, B, C, D, E. So when you get to point E, you start the backward journey again. You move to the front, A, B, C, D, E. Then you start journeying from the end. Do you know what this does? What this does is it gives you clarity. Friends, for several years of my life, I've always been a very creative person. See, when it comes to creativity, I've never had problems. In fact, for the first decades, multiple decades of my life, I was the master of creativity, but I was moving very slow in life. And I said with all sense of reflection and honesty and weight, I was creative. I was everywhere. I was doing things, I was doing things. I could always deliver, but something that I kept lacking consistently back to back was clarity. In fact, I started journeying into clarity about 3 years ago. Clarity, see, creativity is wonderful. Having ideas, beautiful. Having potential, skill, beautiful. Clarity is the game changer. Clarity is what helps you to merge all the strengths and resources of your life together. And from the place of a fusion, see, if you don't have clarity, there could be confusion. See, confusion is you have many things. You can't be confused if you don't have options. Sometimes ladies get confused when they have too many shoes to pick from. Black, pink, orange. So the reason for the confusion is because there are multiple options. So if you are here and you are, they said, no, they have been abusing women considered for a long time. Jack of all trade. They now these guys, they're not always serious. They now put master of none. See, that master of none, it means he has no mastery in none of them. The reason he has no mastery in none of them is he has not come to a place of clarity. Clarity. So one of the things this backward thinking does for you is it gives you clarity as to what you should fuse and focus your life on at the moment, such that you are not in a place of confusion, but you are in a place of fusion. Now, I'm not just doing rhymes. I'm not doing rhymes. That's the best way to explain it. So you are moving from confusion. Confusion means multiple options, no clarity. Fusion means multiple options, but ability to merge those options together and to now zoom out from a place of clarity. So you now know that, okay, now that I've moved from point A to point E, I now know that this is what I should be doing in point B and point C. See, let me say this, and then I'll just move to the other points. Time is fast spent right now. Sometimes, if you don't understand please follow my metaphor, follow my analogy. If you do not understand what point E looks like, you can't understand what point C should look like. If you do not understand what step W looks like, you may not know what to eliminate within step A and step E. You don't just use the present to shape the future. You travel to the future, you get to the end, then you use the end to shape and manipulate. Allow me to use that word. You use the end to design. I prefer that one. Good. That's a safer word. You use the end to design the beginning. You use the end to design the present. And when you do that, allow me again. I like I said, I'm going to use a term that sounds quite faith inclined, but no problem. Just forgive me. But it's just for us to understand it very well. Now, my hero in my faith journey is a man called Jesus, by the way. And one of the ways the Holy Book describes him is that he is the beginning and he is the end. Now, it's one of the frameworks that radicalized my life. I began to challenge myself that, Korede, how can you be an alpha and an omega? There's a way you alpha some things in your life. In some of us in the businesses you are running right now, you have alphaed it. But 2023, you may get stuck. You may not even know you will get stuck yet because the challenges have not really come up. You see, some people, it was COVID that disrupted them. When you get to a point in your life where you know how to move from beginning to the end, you become the beginning and the end of a project. You become the alpha and the omega of a brand. You know where the brand is going to. The goodness of that is that even when an interruption disrupts you. Now, it's not going to happen. But if this meeting closes for one reason or the other right now, like if maybe there's network failure and it closes and we resume, I can tell you with all honesty, I will continue from exactly where I stopped. Like, I will tell you the last word I used. I will tell you exactly where I stopped. You know why? One of the reasons for that is I practice backward thinking. So when you journey from A, B, C, D, E, you have touched A, you have touched B, you have touched C, you have touched D, you have touched E. Then you are coming back again. You are touching D again. You are touching point C again. You are touching point B again. What is that doing? It is enforcing your memory. It is reinforcing your what should I use? It is reinforcing your identity with a vision. So now when I said if this meeting stops right now, I can continue from exactly where I stopped. I just showed you that act from. So the way I can continue from where I stopped is because the journey of everything I'm saying, I have cycled that journey several times. I'm not just talking from something I just stumbled upon just this morning. No, I'm talking from something I have cycled over. I have imagined myself talking like this. I have imagined myself speaking about mastery, speaking about success. I have repeated and simulated that reality in my mind, in my vision, in my imagination several times, to the extent that I know the coordinates. So I cannot know this is what I should say next. This is what I mean here. This is the illustration I should use. It's the same thing for everything you're doing in your life. You must have lived over and over again as an entrepreneur. See, the things you do once are weak, but the things you are doing the third time physically, but you have done it twice in your mind, in your vision, they become stronger. And that is why I said you must always arrive in the future today. Don't arrive in 2023, in 2023. You are late. You are late if you arrive in 2023. No, start arriving in 2023 now. Move on to 2024, 2025. What is it going to look like? Then come back to 2022 and then begin to shape your July based on the July you have seen in 2024. Begin to decide the things you're going to do in August based on the things you have seen in August 2025. It has to be very specific. Forward, backward thinking. Okay, let's move to the next one. Holistic approach. Still a bit similar to forward, backward thinking. Another thing you can learn to really do with your mind if you want to master success is to practice holistic approach to things. Holistic approach to things. I'm just going to take it very, very quickly now because of time. I'm trying to see how many minutes I have left. Okay, I will appreciate if I can just have an idea of I exactly didn't check when I started. So number one, we are living in times where shallowness has become imposed on us because of the need to achieve success very quickly in life. See, we are living in times where there's a quick fix. This is a TikTok generation. TikTok, 7 seconds. Make it fast, make it quick. Start the brand, start selling, advertise. So people are no longer committed to the patience required to understand things. As much as possible, friends, as much as possible. See, I know we are all at different timelines in our life. I know you are at a point in your life where you may be under pressure to do something, to deliver something, to write a book, to prove yourself as being successful, to prove someone wrong, to tell someone you are not a failure, to tell someone you can do it. While I understand those dynamics and all of those realities, commit yourself, please, I beg you, commit yourself to breaking things down. Commit yourself to understanding what you're doing. There are too many people who are doing things and they don't understand it. They don't understand why. What's the name of this? Simon Sinek. Yeah, it was Simon Sinek that wrote the book Start With Why. They don't even understand why. They don't understand how. See, divorce yourself from the community of people who scorn knowledge. People who say, allow me to use the Yoruba, forgive me all non-Yoruba. The moment they hear analysis, their brain shuts down. They think analysts are just grammarians. Yeah, of course, I know. Many analysts are grammarians. I understand. I get that. I get that. There's a corporate anger against analysis in Nigeria right now. Like in Nigeria right now, if you want to vex people, start analyzing things. No, you boldly false. I mean, everybody's angry against. People just want quick things. Like, don't analyze. It's a lie. It's a lie. Life is integral. You can't see if you don't understand it, it will not work. You will start another thing and it will fail again. You will start another business. You would detest knowledge. You would detest understanding. You would detest that patience of why am I doing this? The business I started before, the project I was working on before, the goal I set for myself before. Why didn't I achieve it? And now you have set another goal. Why are you setting another goal when you have not understood why the last goal was not even accomplished? So you break it down. You understand the why, you understand the how. You thank God you are part of a community like this. It shows you are committed to knowledge. So always attempt to understand things. Sorry, please let me quickly check. I want to see if there is any. Okay, all right, fantastic. Always commit yourself to understanding things, break things down. Okay, very quickly now. Immerse yourself into the things you are doing. If you're a student here, if you are building a business, see, immerse yourself fully. You are not here to gamble. It's not, see, you might succeed by chance, you might succeed by miracles. I understand that. But if you're going to replicate it, if you're going to be able to articulate it, then immerse yourself. Then the second to the last, challenge assumptions. Always challenge assumptions. If you're going to have the ability to replicate results, then see, the reason why we are limited in some things we do is because we are still being governed by certain assumptions. You cannot be an innovator. You cannot be a disruptor. The word disruption is my best, or is my most romantic word. If you want to get me smiling, just use the word disrupt. Oh, I am excited. No, disruption is not just good English. Disruption is ability to change something from its foundational core. And by virtue of changing that thing from its core, you are able to, there's a ripple effect. There is a ripple effect. You can't do that if you are still bound by fear. The fear of, if I don't do it the way others are doing it. You don't have to do it the way others are doing it. You don't have to create your own ventures the way others are doing it. There are sometimes you would even have to do things that there are no footprints. What happens? In fact, I was thinking about it yesterday. Most of the things I'm doing currently in my life, most of the things I'm doing, and I said it with all sense of modesty, I can't even find them on Google. It's because Google has not gotten there. And I say that with all sense of modesty. Like the things I'm trying to do with my life, the businesses I'm running, the models I'm building, the framework, if I type them on Google, Google will tell me, sorry, it does not, the information you are looking for does not exist. You know why? There are no footprints. Now, in places where there are no footprints, you are the one that you create the blueprints for them. You create the blueprints where there are no footprints, and your blueprint becomes the footprints. So you challenge assumptions, you ask, why has it not been done before? And then lastly, you experiment. And that's where I'm going to stop. You experiment. What does it mean to experiment? Don't take your life to success failure-ish. Don't take your, see, if you're going to, I am, there's a Silicon Valley in the US. It's like the melting pot for innovations. And I heard that in Silicon Valley is like entrepreneurs, disruptors, innovators. That's like their hub. I think it's similar to what we have in Nigeria here. Yaba. I think there's a Yaba Valley too, or something like that. So I heard that when an entrepreneur fails in Silicon Valley, like when an entrepreneur comes and say, guys, you know what? My brand just failed and we just lost about 2 million naira. According to what I heard everybody rejoices. Like they throw a party. Wow! Like they are rejoicing. And the guy's like, sorry, did you hear what I said? I said, I just failed. Like the brand just collapsed. Like, and they are rejoicing. Everybody's excited. It's a culture. It's a culture. You know why? They want to let the new entrepreneur know that don't get too serious with, if you get too serious with failure, if you take failure personally, you will not create new records, because the new records are the other side of your failure sometimes. If you take failure too personally, you get too embittered, you're taking it too personal. Oh, what I did didn't work out. You will not experiment. You will not discover new things. So they are trying to tell the entrepreneur that, yes, you have failed. And probably you failed because you did something wrong, but apparently you also did something right. And when you try things again, there's always again. Like when you try it again, you're always learning something new. And then you are auditing your life. You are looking at, what mistake did I do in my last project? Why did it fail? Why couldn't we meet up with that deliverable? Why did I fail in that particular pursuit? You're auditing it. You are making important things. And so by the time you do that, failure becomes a learning curve for you. And then you are able to retry that thing. And then you are not just succeeding, but you are now able to tell people, this is what not to do. Remember that popular saying, when I think this young man that invented the bulb, Thomas Edison, right? Thomas Edison. He said, he said, you failed 1,000 times or 999 times. And then he said, no, I learned how not to do it 999 times. Now, this is the good part. The good part is your failure of the 999 times can become the book. It becomes a compass. So you can now tell people who are doing that thing newly that this is what not to do. You can now organize a master class on 999 ways not to build a bulb, and people are going to pay for that master class. In fact, failure is a currency. See, there are things that people teach. Do you know that there are teachers right now? There are teachers, facilitators, public speakers. They gather people for 1 hour. People pay dollars, and all they do is they tell them how they have failed. Can you imagine? You gather people together, and people are paying tons of money, and all you just did was in 45 out of your 1 hour of talking, you just shared 45 minutes of how you feel, and everybody's enjoying that. Something that made you cry became a reference point, became a compass for people. Take your life with like an adventurer, someone who is adventurously looking for new ways to do things, so that even when you fail, you can always retry, and then you can learn new things. I think it's going to be a very, very good place to stop. I could go on and on, but I want to be sure I don't go beyond my 45 minutes. I'm not sure how many minutes I've used though, but I think this could be a very good place to start and to stop rather. And probably if there are questions or anything, I'm just going to hand over to the moderator now. Thank you very much. I hope you have learned something.
Wow, that's been so great. Do you want to stop sharing and I'll just bring you up?
Yes,
That's so wonderful. In fact, I was just thinking about so many things that you were saying, and in fact, it's been such a wonderful thing to be able to sort of like excuse me. So yeah, I think you should stop now. So yeah,
okay, yeah.
Right. Okay, so
okay.
yes, so that was so good. Thank you so much. So many things that I'm going to be asking them in a minute. But even myself, like I was just like, you know what, there's so much there, because I also happen to fall into the multi, and a lot of people fall into that. And I like what you were saying, you want to move from confusion to fusion, right? You want to move from, there were so many things you said. And I think that the last thing you said was very good, because when we are in school, in universities, or we're just coming out of university, we have these lofty dreams and ideas of the perfect world. You know, I want to work in ExxonMobil, I want to work in Shell. You know, we just have it. We don't have any in-between point. Like, it's just that goal or nothing else, right? And so what happens is sometimes when we don't get that goal, we just fall back to nothing, because that's just always been our life ambition. And the only thing that we treasure is to actually work in a particular company. And when that doesn't happen, we don't know how to integrate what we've learned, relate it into what we can now use in the outside world. And I think this is the reason also, you know, why they say that, you know, the C students employ the A students, right? The third class employ the first class student, because some of them have actually learned to think outside the box and to be able to integrate whatever it is, any experience. You see, some people, they come to university, and now that's not saying you should do this, but they ensure that they have the whole experience. It's an immersive experience for them in uni. It's not just class, it's not just a triangle, right? They learn how to relate to people, they learn how to do things. And before you know what's happening, they can integrate that in the outside world. They can do that. And I think it's been so powerful. I know I wrote some things here down, you know, you know, the fact that I like what you said, that, you know, if you want to act in a particular year, you want to be relevant, you have to have arrived early. Like if you arrive now, you are the buyer, you're not the seller. I really love that. I'm like, yes, I need to just write that down. You know, even most of the time, it is when we get to 2023 that all of us start making goals of, you know, this is what I want to do in the year. But who says you can't make 2023 goals now, right? Also, for those of us that are students, there is this long ASU strike now. It's almost endless. You can begin to make post-graduation goals now. And I think that's really, really, really powerful what you said, you know. And also, I like when you said success is not an accident. And I think that's good, because especially engineering students, a lot of us are really very intelligent. Most times, most people that end up as engineering students, engineers, are intelligent. And because of that, we've not given ourselves to a system. Like it is, we have a gift, right? And we've just operated at the lower level of that gift. We've not earned it in any way. We just operated at the lower level. And I think that's really good for all of us on this call, that I know you're brilliant, you're intelligent, but just imagine, you know, and even without trying, you're good. So just imagine what's going to happen when you try, right? Just imagine what's going to happen when you try. So that's really been very, 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 very great. As in, I was just like, I was blown away by that. I think another thing he said I wanted to really emphasize also is that, you know, the things you do once, if you do, the things you do once are weak. And I think that really caught my attention because I like to do things, right? But, you know, also the 5 questions he asked us in the beginning, can you repeat your successes? Can you do things? And I think this is really important. And I'll tell you in a minute why this is so important to us is so that anywhere you find yourself, and I tell people, you know, people ask me, I stay outside of Nigeria. People ask me, oh, how is it abroad and all of that? And I said, well, I really don't know how to answer the question sometimes because there are also people not having a good life here, right? And there are people not having a good life in Nigeria. The people in Nigeria that are having a good life, and the people here that are also having a good life. So sometimes it's all about the mindset and what you're doing different. And I think that's where this topic really comes in. That wherever you find yourself, I like what you said. You can you repeat your success? Even if you went to aliens, right? Aliens, you know, will you be able to integrate that? Some of us, we get opportunities. Let's say, for example, and I think this is one of the things I taught earlier in the year also. You know, you want to get an engineering job, that's your goal for life, but you've not gotten it. Now, you're not suddenly get an opportunity to be a sales, whatever, a sales or there's also strike. You know, you get an opportunity to do something, but sometimes we just treat it casually and we cannot integrate the knowledge. I have a friend who wanted to do a master's after a while, so he didn't get any job. Then he started selling Indomie, but kept his eyes on the ball, right? And then from the Indomie, he sold it, as in from Indomie man to Germany for an engineering master's. You see, and that's why what he's saying is very important because it's what's going to keep you grounded, keep all of us, because I myself, I'm learning a lot from it, keep us grounded, keep us being able to do things, not waiting for anyone to do things for us. As good as the government of any nation is, right? You know, even if they do things for you, if you want to step above the pack, you still need to do some things for yourself. So that's really been very powerful. Thank you so much, Mr. Korede. I could go on and on and on and just the lessons that was there. And that's really important because I see some people, you tell them, oh, there's this opportunity, they say, I can't do it. You know, they can't integrate anything. They can't integrate the knowledge, even the 5 years in the university, you know, they can't integrate it. So you want to ensure that you're able to integrate it wherever you find yourself. I think there was something I was teaching once about even how to engage. You know, sometimes a lot of us, we're just this very bright academic sharp. Yeah, but you can also be the very bright interpersonal person. I know we all have different characters and all of that, but we can learn the things that matter. You know, see what he said in his businesses, he has to show up as a leader, he has to learn all of these things. So that's really very important. Thank you so much, sir. That was great. That was really, really great. I was really so impressed. Please, thank you. Okay, I want just about 2 people. I want to give opportunity to 2 people to just tell me, you know, how I've spoken, what I got from it, and what I think is relevant, some of the things I found relevant to you. But I just wanted 2 people to sort of like, I wanted to give that opportunity before we go into the questions. Just tell us about just what they got from that and what, so tell us what's the one thing that stood out for you and how that is going to affect your life. So yeah, so if you just want to come into that conversation, if you just raise your hand, I will just unmute you straight away. Anyone? Okay, we have Oluwatobi here. Okay, Oluwatobi, please go forward.
Okay, good day, everyone.
Good day.
I really appreciate the facilitator and the guest for the speech or for the long talk. Okay, the part that really struck me was the forward and backward thinking, where he had to use illustration of, let's say he's selling the book, is sort of a thinking from the end and forward. It would help you visualize your goal at the end. So I was struck with that you thinking from the back end and also from the front end would make your goal realistic and make the journey more successful.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. How are you going to apply that? How are you going to apply that into your life? Do you find that? How are you going to apply that?
Yes, I can apply that, like he said during his discussion, from the starting point. Most Nigerians, we just know the AB of things. We are not concerned about the end So now going forward now, prior to this talk, I'm just the typical Nigerian, which is said, just the AB. But now I would implement my thought process from the end down to the beginning.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. That's so good. In fact, if it is that one person, I'm actually very pleased, because sometimes it's about when people see for themselves what they need to do. And I really appreciate that. Any other person want to just give us a contribution about what stood out to them and what they just wanted to do going forward from that? Any other person? Okay, just scrolling through if I see your hand up. Okay, while you're thinking about it, about whether to speak or not, yeah, we're going to go into the Q&A now. And so if you have any question, I want you to raise your hands, and then, we then get to answer those questions. Remember, you can ask questions. You can ask him, oh, how did you do this? Just ask questions. Because I found out that sometimes some of us feels that asking question is a sign of weakness. No, when you have the opportunity, you should ask questions, because asking questions can just save you, sometimes it saves you 10 years of going around the same route, right? So if you want to ask questions, if you have any questions, I want you to just raise your hand and ask. Okay. All right. I'm just going to ask him the first question. Where is he, sir? Sir, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
I'm trying to get back to you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm just going to bring you up now. Good. All right. So the first question I wanted to ask you will be from all of these things that you know. If there is a good way to say all of these brilliant and wonderful things that you know. So let's say I've had you today now. I want to just develop myself around that area and all of that. What are the 3 key things you can recommend I do so that I can get myself? Today's talk is brilliant, but this is like the foundation. How can I build further on this? So can you tell me like 3 things I can do to build further on this?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so very quickly, I'll start with talking about clarity. So, and this might almost sound cliched, but then it's always very, very important. Can you start with probably, and I always recommend this a lot, a 10-year plan, practical. And I've come to discover that the idea of a 10-year plan terrifies the average Nigerian. And I say that with all honesty. We have not even gotten to 50-year plan. I mean, the idea of just looking 10 years away from now, because I mean, there are so many things, there are so many like also bills, such that the average Nigerian has been conditioned to never see too far. So you have to be able to break away from that conditioning. And one of the things you do that will disrupt your thinking, your neurons will rejoice. Your thinking faculty will expand if you subject it to think in the next 10 years. So for instance, now I remember I was talking about some people that belong to a community I run some days ago, not just some days ago, almost every other day. And I was saying, and each time I spoke to them about the community, I was always mentioning in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years. I they were like, they almost thought I was joking. They thought I was just saying that to let them feel like, just to patronize them. But I was actually very, very honest. Before the end of this year, I and the members of that community will get together and we are going to create a 10-year plan. The things we are going to be doing for the next 10 years. Create a 10-year plan and make it as terrifyingly specific as possible. And that is why sometimes you'll be told, can you write what do you envision people writing on your tombstone? What they are trying to do with that is to even help you to see to the day of your departure from Earth, that what do you want people to say about you? So number one, come up with a terrifyingly specific 10-year plan. Very, very, very important. Number two, now this again might be something that some people are already very familiar with, and then some might not be too familiar with it. But very, very, very important. You need to get into communities that, again, help to expand your thoughts process. I'm very excited with a community like this. See, the truth of the matter is, no matter how intelligent you are, like you rightly said, okay, so I've shared a number of things today. It takes people to achieve some of these things. It takes not just people, it takes intelligent people. It takes people that can challenge you. And I like using this example. This popular story in the Holy Book about Team Wise and Team Foolish. So there's a talk about 10 virgins. And no, that parable began to give us a feel into how you need to be very intentional with the team you are joining. There was Team Wise. Team Wise, probably it was one person that started getting the extra oil in that popular story. And maybe by the time one person started doing it, another person saw it and said, why are you getting extra oil for this journey? You already have your lamp. Why are you taking more? And he explained. And the other person started doing that. Then another person started doing that. Then another person started doing that. And then there were 5. Now, for every foolish thing we do, there's somebody we are imitating. For every wise thing we do, there's somebody in your community that is giving you example of how not to do it. Someone that is teaching you, someone that is modeling foolishness for us, and there's someone that is modeling wisdom. So you need to get yourself into Team Wise. There are many team Wise. This is an example of a Team Wise. Look at people who are going the extra mile and begin to ask them questions. Be very specific in your questions. Lastly, keep a journal. Keep a journal with the things you do. I've spoken about replicating. I've spoken about always making intelligent deductions and intelligent markers from your life. One of the ways you can do that is always keep a journal. Don't just go through whatever you are going through right now. Don't just go through it randomly. The day you, okay, so for instance, I again, and I'll just quickly say this, I am very, very high on emotional intelligence, very, very high. Now, I've gotten to, because I journal the experiences of my life, I've gotten to a point where, and again, I'm saying this with some sense of modesty, where if I start feeling bad, whether bad means probably sign of depression, envy, jealousy, fear, like I can tell you the exact minutes where I switched from, say, happiness to, say, fear or anxiety. Like I can tell you 1:01 p.m. I can see all my neurons. I have a very good relationship with my inner verse, with my inner life. And that's because I've learned to journal everything. So when I journal things, I journal how I feel. I journal my success. I journal the last time I said something stupid. I remember, if you ask me, Korede, when was the last time you said something stupid? I can tell you. If you ask me for the time, I can probably tell you the time. I can tell you 2:02 p.m. So dates. I acted foolishly. And that's because I not only journal in a piece of book, I also journal subconsciously. So keep a journal, join Team Wise, get wise people in your community, and ensure you're always in the company of very, very, very wise people. And then those are just some 3 things.
That is very brilliant. I'm just even going to, I think the 3 points you gave were very, very good. And, just on that last point, yes, journaling, I feel like just sometimes you have thoughts and you have ideas just in the moment. And, once you don't put those ideas down, you remember it's, 60% the next day, then it start becoming foggy as time goes on, And even this idea of end realities that you guys see today was from 2014. And even when I was outside the country and I didn't know how to achieve it, but because I kept writing it down in different places. And I think one of the things also that can help you to journal, to write things down, write your ideas down, where you want to be, like you said, who you like, what you see, and all of those things. Sometimes it tells you to see what pattern your life is following. Also, it helps you to be able to see, because sometimes, life happens, you get in a space, you forget what your dreams are. But, if you've journaled, let's say you came out of unit that you graduated, and everything, and you journal, oh, today I'm graduating, this is my goal for 10 years, and all of that, you journal it somewhere. And say life happens, you got something that was not up to what you were expecting, and you did it for 2 years. And I see that happen to people. Somebody once told me that when they left school, they wanted to go for a master's. However, they got a bank job. So when they got a bank job, they scored very high and all of that. They just left the master's because the money for the bank job was coming, right? Now, they started doing the bank job and the money was coming and all of that. But, money is never enough. So as he went on, got married, had kids, started thinking, okay, what am I doing here? I'm not fulfilled and all of that. So something that was supposed to be temporary, he had settled. All right. So he started going back to his dream and his vision. Okay, what were my dreams and vision when I graduated? It's trying to rediscover themselves. And I think that's what is happening to a lot of people. It's not bad to have something, like I've always said, fill the gaps, right? Solve the hunger problem, feed yourself, be able to survive. But don't let go of your dreams. And like you said, journaling is one of the ways in which you can do that. Also, it helps you to create pattern. It also helps you to know how you were able to pass through a particular situation. If that particular situation comes up again, you can know this is how I got out of it. You have a repeatable pattern. So that is so well, I can speak to that. I am a heavy journaler, so I can really, really speak to that. And also, just to add, I'm not the speaker, you can journal on your phone, right? There are notepads and all of that. There's an app called Keep Notes on Google. So even if you lose your phone or you move to another phone, those things will just move over, right? I think it's called Keep Notes. That's what it is on your phone. So you can journal, you can just journal on your phone, you can write it down, you can get books and all of that. So I hope that really helps somebody. But thank you for mentioning that point. That was really so good. I think the next thing I wanted to say is right now, well, the Nigerian situation is a factor. Sometimes family situation is a factor. Some people are really, really down, right? They're really, really down. And I know that this 10-year thing and all of that, I totally support it, but they can't even see as in like, they just want to be like, some people are at that point where they're like, you know what? I just want to get a job, any job. I just want to do something. Is there anything that those people, somebody is just, we have some people that are students, they're just frustrated with this ASU strike. First, is wasting their time. Secondly, it's not like they can really hand. They're just at the mercy of, they can't get a proper job because they don't know when else is going to resume and anything. Is there anything you can do yourself to get yourself, if you find yourself in that situation whereby you're just like, I just want to survive? Is there anything you can do to just, is there anything you can speak to, sir, that can help you? I know my personal mastery, but is it, maybe the question is, even in a I need to survive situation, is it possible to have personal mastery?
All right. Thank you. Very, very important question. Very important. And it really speaks to the reality we currently have in the country and all. So I think the first thing is we all must learn to, as it were, meter our lives. Or let me put it this way. We all must learn to resolve our lives into distinct timelines. And this is what I mean. Okay, so I like using this example a lot. I like using this example. Everybody can relate with traffic in Nigeria. Traffic, like traffic jam and all of that. And sometimes what traffic light does is actually to give us a controlled traffic jam. Like traffic light, eventually, it still makes cars still have to stop. But this time around, it's a strategic. So a traffic light brings us to a place of a strategic traffic jam. It's still traffic. Cars are still stopping, but this time around, they are stopping so as to correct a problem. Mm-hmm. So that's temporary challenge, because it's still a challenge. I mean, I'm driving, so my car is stopping, but it's not stopping because I am helpless. Mm. It's stopping as a way to stop or to correct a bigger problem. But I'm still stuck. Yeah. So somebody can be stuck by traffic jam and you can be stuck by traffic lights. But this time around, it's strategic. It's an intelligent design. So this is what I mean. The current challenges that one might be facing. What if you convert that which looks like an uncontrollable traffic jam into something that is now coordinated? And this is what I mean. Okay, so I'm getting a job. Yes, I am deviating or I'm digressing from my life's dream. My life's dream is to run one of the biggest groceries in my town, in my city. However, what to eat tomorrow is not even accessible. So I've got this opportunity to teach, say, a private lesson, a student. Now, the moment before you even take up the job, before you deflect, before you take up the temporary, ensure that you have impregnated that plan into your mind, that this thing is leading me to the bigger dream. So tell yourself, I am taking this job, and this is how long I will spend in this job, in this journey, in this, what happens to be a digression. See, the digression itself is not the dream killer. It is the way the digression sometimes punctures our intentionality. Just like you said it when you were talking. So you have a plan to do something and then you got a bank job. See, the digression is not the problem. The problem is now that you are in survival mode. In your survival mode, yes, do everything to survive. But ensure the survival mode does not stop you from dreaming. Survive on Monday. Survive on Tuesday. On Wednesday, as much time as you have, the little time you have, use it to write something in your vision book again. You need to keep reminding your mind of where you are going. Else you will become stuck, stranded, and static in that survival mode. And that is what is happening even on the national level. Many countries like Rwanda and even many developed countries today have found themselves where we have found ourselves in Nigeria. But it takes the combination of satisfy the now, but project for the future. Satisfy, I'm going to say that again, satisfy the now. So my advice to people who are currently right now, you are so disoriented by the ASU strike, you need what to daily survival for next week. Yes, do you need to take up a job? Do you need to double your hustle? No problem, do that. Nobody's asking you not to do that. But as you do that, plan your exits from your entry point. Again, forward, backward thinking. I'm going to do this. And then you have to be very intentional, but I will do this for 6 months. So when you are doing that, whatever you need to do to survive for 6 months, for 1 year, you are not wasting resources. You are not wasting opportunities. So the day you meet someone, the day you come across an event, the day you just stumble. See, I noticed something about life. Life, the universe is intelligent. I so much believe in intelligent design. The universe hears the whispers of your heart. The universe knows what you wrote in your book last week. Have you ever noticed that the moment you start eyeing a blue Camry car, the moment you start like, I want to get a blue Camry car, suddenly everybody's using the blue Camry car. No, they were using the blue Camry car. They were using, sorry, please. I just realized my device was not plugged. 1 minute. Sorry, please. I need to. Okay, I thought I was charging it. All right. Okay, fantastic. So the moment you, so everybody was using the blue Camry car before, but because you were not very intentional, your cerebral faculty was not seeing blue Camry because you had not personalized that reality. But the moment you personalize, the same thing happens for a clothes. Sometimes it is the moment you get a particular type of clothes, you realize that, oh, my friend wore this clothes at this party. They were wearing it before. So that's the idea of personalize your intentions. Ensure that even if you compromise, and I said it with all honesty, yes, you can give into 1 or 2 compromise. Of course, I use the word compromise not to mean any form of negative compromise. I mean, probably like this popular joke. There's this popular joke, and I applied for OAU. I got Rufus Giwa. Apologies to anybody. like I applied for medicine. I got, okay, so for instance, I applied. I wanted to study medicine, but they gave me, there's a way we say they gave me. I got SLT. So sometimes your dream is medicine, but life gives you urban and regional plan. Life gives you SLT, science, laboratory. The question is, what can you do with the SLT life gives you? Can the SLT lead to the medicine? Can the compromised version? And I tell you in all honesty, if you take the what looks like a compromised version of your most desirable life, if you take it and you are serious with it, the seemingly compromised version will still lead you to the best version. So take whatever you need to do whatever you need to do to survive for the now, but never stop integrating the things you are doing for the now. Never stop integrating them. Let your now and your next all
All right, can we still hear him there? I think maybe his laptop probably went off or muted. Can we hear him? Can you let me know in the chat section? I can't hear him anymore, but can you hear him?
No, it's frozen.
Frozen, okay. I think he will come back. But that has been massive, right, people? That has been great. I think the answers to the question, even me, I am just thinking about so many things and how I can apply that. And I think that's really been wonderful. That's been great. That's really been great. We're going to wait for him to come back. But does anyone else have a question or comments you want to type in the comment section? What your question is. We have him now, so let's ask question. This is wonderful because you know this is really wonderful, and I'm so. Is he back? Just let me know when he's back. Okay, so
Yeah, I'm trying to reach out to. Oh, he's back.
he's back. Okay, all right, that's fine. Okay, you're welcome back, sir. I think you're muted. You're muted.
Okay, sorry about that. I had some network glitch. Okay,
Yeah,
all right. So wrapping up my thoughts on that. Get what is available now. But while you're doing the available, ensure the available does not format your memory, does not format your desire, your stubbornness. You've got to be stubborn. Your stubbornness, your commitment to the desirable. If you do that, life is intelligent. The available will evolve into the desirable. What you're doing to survive, you're not the first person it will happen to. It has happened to several people. There are people who did the most menial, the most despicable, the most unbelievable forms of jobs just to move to the desired place of their destiny. It worked for them. You cannot be an exception. It would also work for you.
Wow, that's so massive. That's so great. That's so great. I was still saying to them, that's so great. Thank you so much. Just saying that, don't let the present format your memory. And I think that's really great. And that's going to stay with me. Okay, I think that's somebody. Please, if you're that person, can you mute for us? Yeah, so I think I'm going to leave the floor open now. These were the two main questions on my mind as a person, but I'm just going to leave it to our participants to give it the room to ask questions. If you have any questions, this is the time to sort of ask the questions. Oh, there's Oluwatobi raising his hands again to ask questions. Okay, that's great. I'm going to ask you to unmute and you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Korede, for the speech. Okay, my first question is, when you started the speech, you were talking something about mastery and something about automation. Like if you are successful with, if you have a success story, you should be able to replicate it to, for instance, you said 1,000 people. So I want to ask, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
So I want to ask, based on your experience, Mr. Korede, based on your life experience, is it possible that a personal strategy can be applicable to like thousands of people?
Wow,
then
very interesting.
My
Okay.
second question is still in the line of thoughts of the first question. Let's say you're successful on a particular line, or let's say scope. Then you would like to move to another scope. Let's say, for instance, from engineering, you're moving to management. Is it possible that there are unique transferable principles, like your personal principles, which you use to achieve your success in engineering? Are there unique transferable personal principles that can also work in management? For instance, engineering to management. So, based on your life experience, are there unique and transferable personal principles that you feel you can share with us?
All right. Okay, can I go ahead to answer?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Those are like very intelligent questions. It really shows you understand. It takes understanding to ask those questions. So and the two questions are twin questions, as it were. So the first question is, can you automate personal strategies and apply those same strategies for a larger group of people? So first of all, let me tell you what I'm not saying. Let me first say what I have not said. Now, I am not saying that when a principle or a strategy works for you, you impose that same strategy on other people. So for instance, I'm not saying that what has worked for me in life, in my pursuits, I'm not saying that if I meet another person, probably what works for me. Okay, let me give an example. So there are certain people here, what works for you is you wake up 4 a.m. every day. That thing is a very popular ideology or a very popular principle that those who wake up 4 a.m. every day usually have a more productive day. Now, as awesome and as possibly credible that is, it might not necessarily work for every other person, because what if, for instance, your job is a job that requires night commitments and you cannot even wake up by 4 a.m. Now, so that's not what I'm saying. So I'm not saying the one who wakes up by 4 a.m. every day, or the one, let me use another example, or the one who applies a particular tool. So let's say there's another person who runs a business, and I was able to succeed with this business. He ran Instagram ads, lots of Instagram ads, and then he ran Facebook ads. And now he's telling people in your business, you must run Instagram ads and you must run Facebook ads. Again, that is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you should impose your strategies on other people. So what am I saying? So what I'm saying is, in your own journey in life, see, and this might sound almost debatable, and you're permitted to think about it. For me, the bestseller book you'll ever read in your life, the bestseller book I've read my entire life, my bestseller book is not a book written by a best-selling author. The bestseller book I've read is my diary. And this takes me back again to the diary. The bestseller book I've read in my entire life is the things I wrote and I jotted and I noted on my own phone. Life is so intricate and so intelligent that there's a peculiar design that works for you. There is something that works for you. When you understand the design that works for you, in as much as you are still in quotes, you still have your brain, you have your mind, you have your body. You can replicate that same strategy for yourself and for the things you are doing and for every project you have before you. So I'm not saying, now you get to a particular point that when you have replicated something over and over again. So take, for instance, those who have taught us that when you wake up 4 a.m. every day, you would have a very productive day. Now, don't be so quick to say that doesn't work for me. They know what they are saying. However, that may not work for you. But the fact that many people are saying it means there is something about it. However, it is still personal. So what I'm saying is, whatever you have discovered in your own journey in life, I know the things that work for me. So for instance, I realized that one of the things that work for me is ability to do what I just thought, forward, backward thinking, which of course I thought. And then in terms of probably the way I manage my day, because of the nature of things I do, I can work late into the night. Sometimes I'm always more productive in the middle of the night and all of that. I have done that. So wherever I am, I can replicate that design for myself. That's number one. Now, in automating that to mass produce certain outcomes for a larger group. So if you are still the leader of such a group, if you are still the custodian. Now, if you are working in a company and you are probably a team lead or you are a class rep of a department and you practice certain things that works for your department, you came up with a structure that helped your department to always communicate with their lecturers. You came up with a pattern, you came up with a structure. Okay, you organize something. When it's 2 weeks to an exam, you organize the hangout between lecturers and students. Now, listen to this, very, very important. You did that as a class rep and it worked. So during that hangout, you just realized that, oh, lecturers were free. They were very free, students were very free. And in that moment of liberty, lecturers started mentioning some things that were like AOC. You know, in school, lecturers sometimes were very liberal with their AOC. So you notice that when they were in class, they were all uptight. But during a hangout, I'm just giving examples. During a hangout, the lecturers were freer, the students were freer, and the lecturers started talking about the AOC for the exam. Now, you are now working in XYZ company. You are no longer a class rep. This is no longer a department of students, but you are working in XYZ company. And in that company, you have been made a team lead. And you have a project, a very huge project to deliver. And in the deliverable of that project, everybody must work together. Now, remember the principle you used or the approach you used when you were a class rep. Break down, and that's what I meant by permutate. Permutate that approach. So now, instead of thinking, so what happened in that example I gave? You linked up the lower, or let me put it this way. Who do lecturers represent in that strategy? Lecturers represent the top level stakeholders. Students in your department, who do they represent? Give them a designation. They represent, let's call them same level stakeholders or bottom level stakeholders. So what did you do when you organized a hangout between your lecturers and your students? So what you did was you created a social environment for top level stakeholders to meet with bottom level stakeholders. That was what you did. You didn't just so in reality, you organized the hangouts, but in design thinking, in creative thinking, what you actually did, the principle of what you did was you organized I didn't call it hangouts again. You organized a social atmosphere where top level stakeholders can interact with bottom level stakeholders. But now, don't forget, now you are a team lead working in a mega company and you have a project. So how do you replicate that same process? So what do you do? So you can organize the hangouts while the project is going on and everything is tense, everybody's tense, everybody's trying to deliver. Then you just you just came up with an idea. And that idea is you told the top level managers that can we have a hangout? And then you organize the hangout between your top level managers and your colleagues or those who are your team members. What have you done? You have replicated the same process you used as a class rep in a department. But first of all, you were able to define that process. You didn't define the process in terms of I organized hangouts. No, you defined in terms of I organized a social event between top level stakeholders and bottom level stakeholders. Now, let's say again, you are a coach. You are a coach or you are an artist manager and you are managing a set of talent. You can replicate the same thing, organizing social events between top level stakeholders and bottom level stakeholders, organizing social events between potential customers and potential partners. It can go on and on. So you are changing the variable, but the constant remains the same. What's the constant? Social environment. What's the variable? Hangouts. What's the constant? Top level goes to bottom level. What's the variable? Lecturer, students. What's the variable? Customers, partners. What's the variable? Sponsors, potential, whatever. So it is, I can go on and on. So in my personal life, just to make it even more personal. So I realized that when I was, okay, so take for instance, let me use this example. Like I said, I create content. Let me use the example of content so that I won't repeat that same example. So recently, I broke down my content creation flow into something I can always replicate. So for instance, I write scripts for movies, for skits, for visual content, and all of that. I'm also into copywriting, and I write a whole lot of things. So I noticed that I took different contents and okay, by the way, let me say this. By the way, I also write content for people who are like social media content creators and all of that. And I run a community right now where we want to start creating content for social media. So you know what I did? I did the same thing I've always been doing. I studied patterns. And you know what I saw in the patterns I studied? I studied everything that makes every comedy funny. So while I'm watching an in quotes, Lasisi Elenu comedy, I studied what was the thing that made it funny. What was the thing Oga Sabinos did that made it funny? So right now, and of course, that's not the purpose of this talk, so I may not necessarily share that. So I realized that this thing that started trending several years ago, where, for instance, what's this lady's name? This lady, I can't remember her name now. Okay, but many people have done it, where you do a split image of yourself. I can't remember the term now. So you are talking, and then another version of you is talking, and then you did that together. So I studied what made that thing trend. I realized that thing is called, so I gave it a name, and I called it contrast. Meaning, so you are acting as a landlord in Nigeria. So you say, how would a landlord in Nigeria act? The person acts that. How would a landlord in the US act? So instead of just looking at landlord, I looked at what is the principle working here. The principle is called principle of comparison and contrast. The moment I got that, I knew how to mass produce that for every content. So I got okay. So the real thing that is going on. So I see another comedian. The comedian is showing how Nigerian pastors behave, how American pastors behave. I saw the same thing. Oh, what's going on here is they are comparing. So I began to break it down. Geographical comparison, Nigeria, America. Economic comparison. How do the rich behave? How do the poor behave? I began to break down that process. There is economic comparison, there's geographical comparison, there's religious comparison. And now, off the top of my head, I can create those kind of contents all over again. Whether you ask me, Korede, can you give us a content on something funny for football tomorrow? I can replicate it. I'm just giving very, very practical examples. I also saw, and let me wrap up with this, I also saw that exaggeration was also something that makes anything funny. Please, what does let me think of a random Nigerian comedian, Lasisi Elenu, so Lasisi Elenu does this. If you don't know Lasisi Elenu, forgive me for that. He does this what do you call it? Filter, Snapchat stuff. And then it disfigures or it exaggerates his comedy. So I isolated the principle. The principle is called exaggeration. What makes things funny? Exaggeration. So when I write a content and I want that content to be funny, and in that content, you are just normal, I think of how do I exaggerate this thing? I began to read all content on Instagram, things that people post on their WhatsApp status. I saw that exaggeration was always at the background. So somebody says, I can't think of an example, like no example is coming to my head now. But you just see, it is what makes things humorous is exaggeration. The moment I isolated the fundamental principle, I can mass produce that principle.
I like that. I like that so much. In fact, I feel like with this end part, it's even told you if you don't even know how to do anything content, this has even given you expo already like that, as in like that, just like that. I really like that. I never really thought about it like that. That was massive. That's good. And it just speaks to what you've been telling us, study, look into things, look deeply into it. Why is it? And I think the last example you gave, just, I felt like it was just a butchering and help us to understand what you were teaching us earlier, right? And I think that's really very good because it brings it home for us. It's real example. And when I think back at all those comedians you're mentioning, I can now see it. I never saw it, but I can now see what you're saying. So, if you want to go viral, this is what you should do. And maybe I'll be going viral next. All right, thank you. I'll hand over now to our dear Mrs. Adedoyin, and she's just going to be wrapping up for us.
Thank you so much, Madam Tolu. Wow, this has been such an amazing session, even for me personally. I know this has been for you guys as the mentees, But honestly, I took a lot of notes. Like, this has been massive for me. I've learned a lot of things. And I hope that every single one of you, I know we only heard, feedback from Oluwatobi. Thank you, Oluwatobi, for that. But I want to believe that every single one of you, got value out of this today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. We do not take it for granted at all. And we believe that, we trust that, this has really been beneficial for you. So in the comment section, I just want us to say, or you can unmute and say a very big thank you to our facilitator, Mr. Koride. Can I see that in the chat, or unmute and just say, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We're really grateful. Let's encourage him. If you know this was valuable and you would like to have him talk to us again another time. Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Korede. I believe you're seeing that. We really appreciate you. We celebrate you greatly. Thank you for never failing, for always
thank you
showing up 100%.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. And we would like to know how we can, follow you after this, because you've dished out, wealth of wisdom, and we don't want it to just end here. We would like to continue gleaning from, from the fountain of wisdom. So how can we follow you on, what are your social media handles by which we can follow you on social media platform? Maybe you can drop that in the chat for us, or you're saying?
Yeah, I'm going to do that now.
Okay, awesome. So so he's going to put his social media handle in the chat box. Feel free to, just follow him, because I know that, it definitely should not end here. Okay. So just a few housekeeping items. We're entering into week 5 of the EMP program, the End Realities Mentorship Program. Please reach out to us if you're having any issues contacting your mentor. But I want you to know, first of all, like Madam Tolu mentioned on the chat, that this is actually, this program should be driven by you as the mentee. And what that means is that you should be the one consistently chasing after your mentor, because you are the one who is cognizant of what you stand to gain from it, right? You're the one who needs something from them, so you should be the one chasing after them, and just continue being in their inboxes, in their WhatsApp chat, through whatever means of communication that they have made available to you. But if you do need any support from us, if for any reason you're unable to reach them, please slide into my DM or Madam Tolu's as well, or on the group. I mean, the group is open, right? So slide into our DMs, let us know, because we really want this to be an impactful mentorship program for you. We don't want these 3 months to just go without, having made a difference in your life. So please maximize this time, okay? Maximize this time, because I tell you, there were a lot of people who really wanted to jump onto the mentorship program, but you were selected out of the minimal resources that we have. So please maximize it and suck all the juice that you can out of it. Okay. So, and if you haven't filled your logbook yet for weeks 3 and 4, please fill it, and please schedule meeting again. So we're entering into week 5 by tomorrow. So please schedule, week 5 and 6 meetings with your mentor. Okay. And know that, we're just here for you. We're rooting for you. We really believe in you, and we really hope that your time during this mentorship program will be very beneficial. All right, so that's it for now. I believe you've all seen Mr. Koride's social media handles. It's just his name, Akorede Fagola, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All right, so I believe we're done here for today. Thank you for staying till the very end, and I hope that you all have an amazing weekend. Thank you. Bye, everybody.